Yuvraj, and along with me, we have Akash. We welcome you all to another impactful episode of Alumni Angle, a podcast series by the Alumni Committee of IIM Rohtak, in collaboration with Organon, the Analytics Club of IIM Rohtak. This series connects current students with IIM Rohtak alumni who are building impactful careers at the intersection of business, technology, and analytics. Today's episode is titled Product Management in the Data Driven Enterprise. Our aim is to help students who are new to product management, as well as those who know about the role but do not have a clear roadmap for it. We are delighted to host Mr. Tarun Yadav, currently working with Kotak Mahindra Bank as a product manager and an alumnus of IIM Rohtak. So thank you, sir, for joining us on Alumni Angle. It is a pleasure to welcome you back to the IIM Rohtak community.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you
Right,
so
sir.
much. Yeah.
So to start off with, we have our first question. Like, sir, for a student hearing about product management for the very first time, how would you clearly explain what a product manager actually does on a day-to-day basis, and what outcomes are you ultimately responsible for?
Sure. So let's just start with a problem, right? A product manager is potentially put into an organization. If we were to talk about my experience, I handle the SME business, which is in the wholesale banking group, which is the corporate side of the bank, investment banking and institutional banking side, in which what I handle is I look at and what, so for starters, we are given a problem statement. Essentially we are given something which is a problem within the organization, right? And it is a very different kind of a role. Essentially it does not have a very clear KRA per se, or a clear goal sheet. But you go there, you understand. For starting, you are put into an empty role, which is a management trainee. You are given all the backgrounds and all the stuff about the business. But then post that, once you're in the business, then there are some sort of responsibilities and business understanding that you have to get. And post understanding that, then you are given some sort of responsibility or a project to run internally, which fits with you and also fits with the person that you're working under, your team head or your person. And that project can be anything. It can range from you having a very specific small problem, or you solving a very large problem which is for the whole of bank. So it depends essentially. But coming to your question, which is where does it start? It starts with a problem. Essentially it starts with a problem statement. It starts with something which you are not clear at the moment, but you're trying to create and make some sense of it. So that's where it starts.
There is a common belief that one must know coding or have an engineering background to be a product manager. So, in your
Hmm.
experience, how true is this? And what level of technical understanding is realistically expected from a product manager?
Um, to be fair, the people who are working with me don't have a lot of those technical backings. If you're good at Excel, a lot of people just can do a good job. If you're good with macros and maybe basic of Tableau or Power BI, then you can probably sail through and you can do good. But like for if you're like specifically targeting the tech side of things, because I work at a bank and I work on the investment banking, which is the wholesale banking side, the product management becomes different and is very different how we approach at a bank, right? It is not as same as working for a product first company, which is, let's say, a Coinbase or a Facebook or any other company, right? Where you're working as a product manager and you're building the app or any other platform per se. But having said that, having coding knowledge is obviously a plus, because I've been coding since the age of 15, 16, from the school time. And I obviously, through IPM also, we had different courses, and I did my MBA also in finance and IT. So I had specialized in both. So I had business algorithms and business data structures and all of those things understanding. But of course, if you're not good at it, I see people around me who are good product managers not having those skills and still make it. So it is not a very big issue per se. But if you have it, then you can probably deliver more quality work.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So over to you, Akash.
So what I wanted to ask, if you had to prioritize for MBA students, what are the top 4 or 5 skills that they should actively build for product roles in fintech, like across business analytics, user understanding, or stakeholder management? What's your take in it?
sure. So I'll approach this question in a manner that I'll start by answering which are the basics, and then probably which are some complementary things which you can obviously build, right? The basics are obviously you should have technical business knowledge. Whatever business you're doing, whatever business you're working for, whether be it a tech company, a fintech company, a finance consulting firm, an operations company, anything, right? You should clearly understand what the business is. For me, what I personally did, I interned at the place. So I talked to every person who was at the ground level, right? So in R, we have two sides. One is the business side and one is the credit side. Okay. The business side gets us the business, which is the deals and stuff. The credit side does all the due diligence. And then we are in the middle, which drives the business essentially, strategize, make things, implement things, build products, and are stakeholders of the product, and we need to run the products, right? So for what I started at the very ground. I started talking to every RM. I did my groundwork. I did my research. All right. So have a very clear understanding of the business. That is first. It is a non-negotiable, right? Whatever business you're getting into, just have that clear understanding of what the business is all about. Even if you don't have that business understanding, then you should, once you reach the organization, at least you should try understanding the business more. Okay. Now, second is a very clear communication. Okay. There would be a lot of people, and you would be expected, there would be really high expectations from you because you are new to the system, you're fairly young to the system, and you don't know a lot. And the people who you would be designing all these products for, they would be far more experienced in the system and they would know far more than you. Okay. They are probably working for 15, 20 years. Now, how do you fill up that gap? Okay. You should be quick. Essentially, as I said, talk to as many people, build that business understanding. If you're not, if they trump you on those business understandings, then you lose their trust. Okay. So have a very clear communication, understand what communication matters, how it matters, and always what I do is I keep a copy and a pen with me and I note down everything, whatever conversation I'm having with anyone, and I try to learn. Okay, I do my homework after going home or probably on the weekends sometimes because you need to learn first. You're put into this system. Okay. Now, third is, of course, the technical abilities, which are important, right? But I'll say more than the technical abilities, you might know Excel, you might know coding, you might know anything, how to apply, how to think strategically, how to have that, a design thinking attitude or that design thinking is what you should probably build, right? When you approach a problem, just think and divert the problem into 4 or 5 parts because most of the problems that you would get in Prodman would all of the stakeholders telling you that this can't be done. All right, that is the most common thing that you get. Right, this can't be done. We have tried it, we have tried, we have tested it. Always have that positive attitude of you approaching a problem with a fresh mind and then, having your own approach to it and probably then taking it through. And then there is this always loop of feedback. So be it the smallest of the things that you have done, take the feedback from people on the ground. Why aren't you using my product? What is the thing that I can do better? Always talk to various different people who can use your thing, and talk to anyone and everyone who is probably using. So if you're like doing all those 4 or 5 things, having that understanding, then you can be probably a very good product manager. There is no like rocket science to it.
Okay, Tarun. So I think the communication part is the most important thing, right?
Communication part,
Yes.
obviously, how to use and how to leverage your network, right? And how to
Mm,
build your technicals. You might know, I knew coding, I knew nothing about Power BI, I knew only Tableau, okay? But Power BI
mm,
is the most important platform that I've used in the last 6 months. And just because I knew something, I used AI and a lot of other stuff which I experimented around. I built a lot of things internally. I tried, tested, failed. I tried, tested, failed. That happens. That happens to everyone. But your effort in doing that makes you hold some sort of activity and probably get to a solution, but which no one was essentially thinking about. So then you get the some sort of appreciation after like 15, 20, well, like 6, 7 months of working. But you have to constantly try. You have to constantly, apply the best thing that you can probably with whatever you know.
Yeah.
So, my next question will be around AI. Like AI is transforming every function in the business.
Yeah.
So, how do you see the role of product manager in evolving in the AI era? And is it still a promising long-term career choice? That is.
Okay. So as I understand this question, how do we leverage AI and is
Hmm.
AI a threat to product management, right? Is what you're saying, is
Yes, sir.
what you're trying to say.
Yes.
I think AI only brings in efficiencies into the organization, but AI can't solve problems in itself. You have to be very shrewd in order to understand what the real problem is. How do you cut the noise? How do you cut the chaos, essentially? How do you navigate what the real problem or the bigger problem is, which would, if you solve that bigger problem, it would have a cascading effect on the smaller problems, and the smaller problems might get solved in themselves, right? That level of thinking AI would never get, how much so ever models you build, because those are people and people have problems in an organization also, and whatever product you're trying to build, you should have that element and that creative thinking, that knack for you to tell AI whatever you're trying to build. So AI would obviously build that efficiency, but would AI replace the product managers? No, I don't think so. Why? Because product manager is not a person who does a specific role. Let's say a due diligence role, all right? Let's say you marking up some legal files. We are not those people. We don't do that, right? What we do essentially is a bit more on the creative side, with obviously having the fundamental and the technical knowledge of solving some sort of problem. And you need a figurehead. In an organization, you need a figurehead. You need a person that is responsible for a certain thing and is taking action, who's driving the team, who's building and coming up with new ideas and then trying to iterate and build something, right? I don't think AI or people depending on AI would be so much that we would be having figureheads in the organization who are just AI, and then you can give responsibility. Because in future, if something doesn't pan out, if a product fails, who do you talk to? Do you like question the AI? No, you can't. AI is just an information processing tool. You give them inputs, it is as simple, and you take out the output, whatever you want. It is not a threat, anyhow. It does not do business, and I don't see it happening. That's it.
Okay, Tarun. Thank you. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's all from my side.
Now ending the meet. On behalf of Student Alumni Committee, I Swati thank you Tarun for your wonderful important timing, and also we would like to thank Organon, the Analytics Club of IM Rohtak. We are grateful for your time and insights, and we are confident that this conversation will serve as a clear guide for many aspiring students.